and then me. I want to share a couple things, and then it's me. It's all about me. Who in this room, you're going to get a prize, raise your hand, can name all 6 personal perspectives? I'll give you 1 month free office bill if you can name all 6.
Can I get back to you on that?
So part of our Keller Williams is our culture and our systems and our models. The 6 personal perspectives are a huge part of that. Can anybody name one of them?
Commit to self-mastery.
Done. How about another one? Don't say it, David. I know you know. We talked about the EDP.
Something learner.
Something learner. Make being learning-based the foundation of your action plan. 80-20 principle. Everybody know the 80-20 principle, right? Move from E to P. Limiting beliefs, right? And the biggest one, be accountable. We talk about all the time the 6 personal perspectives. You need to know them, understand them, and master them. That is part of our culture. It is part of who we are. It's in the MRA book, which if you don't have one, you should have gotten one if you're new when you've onboarded. If you need one, we sell them in the office here. They're in Demetra and in Abby's office, right? About the shelf? Yes. Yeah. So I want to bring that up because I was at Mega Leadership last week and in a room full of probably, I don't know, 600 people. Nobody in the room could remember them all. Now we all got pretty close, but it was to get they gave us a prize or whatever. So I'm gonna keep quizzing y'all. So if you want to I'll keep throwing out the prizes. But I think just understanding some of that stuff as you're learning and getting educated and being a learning-based agent, understand the company that you work for and the culture and the principles that we stand for. So I think that's just really important. This is a little add I wanted to add in there. What's the book? The MRA Millionaire Real Estate Agent, the red book. And for those that are newer, we talk about it in our recruiting packet. You can see it on there. That's one thing. So just I committed my accountability this year was I read that book every single month for the entire year to know it frontwards and backwards, know all the models and the systems, economic model, like whatever that looks like. Guys, everything that you need to know to be successful is in that book. Simple, clear, concise. That's all you need. So I know that we as a market in our market area had a great month last month overall. I wanted to share before we get into this just a couple of numbers with you guys for our market center in particular. We had almost $30,000 in profit share given out last month. 21st of every month, everybody gets an automatic deposit of profit share money. Did any of that go to y'all? You don't have to raise your hand. If it didn't, how can we help you build your profit share? That's part of the benefit of being with Keller Williams. And so just when people are still navigating a transitioning market, and there's a lot going on this year between what's on the news, which we don't like to watch, we have an election going on. And so just be mindful of your business and how you're building your business. And that there's more than one way to have passive income. So just I want to keep that on the forefront with you guys, because that's a lot of money. So some agents here get a few hundred, some agents get several thousand. So it's a big deal. We had 69 listings taken last month. About 30% higher than this time last year. So just want to share, the market definitely, going in through the end of first quarter, second quarter, it's really looking strong. I ran reports this morning. We had 47 listings sold in the month of April. We had 111 contracts written. So to give you an idea, my question to you guys, how many of those were y'all's? If you guys are not involved in these numbers, let us help you. Please come see us, come talk to us. Let us help you get where you need to be. You might take a wild guess what our average sales price in our market share in our market area has been over the last 2 months. $520 in March, $518 in April. $518,000. There's not a lot of first-time home buyers out there that might not be able to qualify for that. Are you prepared when you have buyers coming to you to have those conversations? Do you know the market? Do you know where to look for homes that are affordable to them for first-time home buyers? So I'm guessing that's the 4 to 450 range. If you got 2 incomes and great credit. So I think and I'll tell you that in the other 4 market centers that are around us, they're still in the 4s. We are in a little bubble here with Gwinnett County or Beaufort City schools and lake properties, high price points. And so that helps our average sales price, but it also feels very expensive. And it's also very profitable. So for you guys, so just be mindful of that. Does anybody have any questions on like the numbers for our market center when you guys hear that kind of stuff? Thoughts, concerns, feedback? Terrified, scared? Holy cow, that's a lot. I know I couldn't afford that when I was a first-time buyer. So educate yourself. Understand what buyers need, what buyers are looking for. Because they need help. They need convenience and they need expertise. Last month we did a listing mastermind a little bit, talking about buyers and what they need. What do you guys feel like they need? Education. What else? Mm-hmm. Solution. That's right.
Therapy.
Yeah. Yeah. Convenience, right? They want convenience. Yeah. When is it when you get to make your first impression on them? When does that happen? Immediately. Your first contact. That's right. Trust with buyers. Trust with buyers when you're making your first contact, when you're presenting value, reaching agreements, and setting expectations, when you're qualifying them, when you're searching for properties. And by the way, in case you guys didn't know, this is from the Value Squares, and who took the Value Square or did not. This is where all this information, a lot of this is. When you're showing properties, when you're negotiating contracts, when you're in the due diligence period, when you're closing the transaction. That's how you build trust with your clients, how you communicate with them. First communication means something. Who in here would like to share what's the number one first thing you do when you get a cold call from a buyer? What do you do? Ask them questions. Right. What kind of questions do you ask them?
How did you find my information?
Mm-hmm.
When are you looking to move?
Yep.
Basically, who, what, when, where.
Who, what, when, where, and why.
Timeline. Why.
Yep.
Are you pre-approved?
Mm-hmm. Now, do you have a system in place that you track that information so you know where your buyers are coming from? Yes. Everybody hear that? Yes. Do you track where your buyers are coming from? If you don't know where your buyers are coming from, you cannot feed that channel. Understand where your buyers are coming from. Was it a referral? Do you have a system for your referral that sent you that buyer? How are you thanking them? How are you following up with them? What does that follow-up system look like? It's very important that you make sure that they stay in the loop on how you handle their client. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is they're not going to send you anybody else. And they might not use you again based on how you treat their referral. Have a system around that. Systematize everything that you possibly can. Who else would like to share? Once you have initial contact, what do you do next? There you go. Set an appointment. Set an appointment. Now you have all the answers to your questions. Do you do any homework before you meet with them? What kind of homework do you do?
Depends on what the conversation was. So you figure out where they're looking and go ahead and preview some homes. Mm-hmm. So when you do have that conversation and that consultation, you're prepared. You're ready to say, oh, okay, so I thought you might want to look at these. These are what I think would be best for you. And let's talk about if they're not, what needs to change.
Right. Yeah. How do you adjust and pivot the conversation to what that looks like? Has anybody had an experience in here where you had a conversation, you met with somebody and you met with them and all the things they told you on the phone did not apply in that conversation when you met with them? Yeah. You're like, is this the same person? I don't really know what's just happened. Do you guys know how to navigate that conversation to go back and either you have to decide, did you ask the right questions or did what you communicated they did not hear? Or is it a listening problem? It just figure out how to fill that gap. How do you guys do that?
I feel like the problem I run into is I get all the questions answered and then I find like the house that I think checks all the boxes. Show it to them, I get really excited. I'm like, here it is, like here's your perfect house. And then They're like, say anything. I thought you'd be excited. Like, why is it? So what I always say was like, okay, like as from 1 to 10, like what would you rate that home? So how can we get a 10?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a 10.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to figure out what I'm missing.
Mm-hmm. And I would go further and say, what would make it a 10 plus? What would make that the one that it's the one and would save you a lot of time and then a lot of time of looking and communicating, and how do you make it a 10 plus? Buyer presentations. Who has one? Raise your hand proud.
I do.
Raise your hand proud. That's right. You got a buyer presentation. How often have you had to use it in the last 3 years?
Every single time I meet with.
Right answer. Right answer. Just because you have a buyer and it feels like an easy.
You better have one.
You better
get out there.
That's right.
Sign.
That's right. So you guys better have your ish together.
What's in your buyer presentation?
I don't know. What's in your buyer presentation?
I don't know. I don't have buyers.
That's a good question. Do you have in there details about you? Yes, yeah. You have details about your feedback, what you provide. What are they going to get for your service? Right? Isn't it, I mean, like listing presentations. What are they going to get? I think that the last couple of years for agents who got in the business, nobody's had to have any conversation. It was like, yay, apples are falling from the tree. This is amazing. Like looking at me very seriously. Yeah. And so you guys have got to be prepared. We've got to have the prep work done. The NAR settlement stuff that's going on. What's the one thing and the only thing that's in that document that's going to change? In one sentence, as you may know. I know if you do.
The co-op commission.
The co-op commission.
That's it. The only thing that is in the document that's going to the judge, which has now been pushed to August 17th, I believe, is that you can no longer list the co-op percentage in FMLS. That's it. You know what's changed today? Nothing. I cannot tell you how many times I get emails or texts or phone calls. Oh my gosh, I'm about to sign an agreement with a client. What I need to change? Nothing changes today. Do what you did yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Just do it better.
Just do it better. Yeah. Get it signed, number one. So no panic. Don't freak out. The sky is not falling. Like everything is fine. And I know that for a lot of people, it does feel different. Georgia is an exception. And I think we are more than well equipped in sharing what this is going to look like. Atlanta Partner specifically is going to guide us through this whole journey, as things change. If we need to have our agreements updated, signed, that sort of thing. Questions on that? Thoughts, concerns? Everybody knows exactly what's going to change, right? So we talked a little bit. Chelsea shared some of the things on here. On your paper, now these are just examples. 2%, 3%, and 4%. They kind of the same way. Is this what you were thinking last time when we did this?
Yes, I just wouldn't do 2.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just an example. So what would you like it to start with?
3.
Okay. So we'll do 3, 4, 5. Confidently. How are you going to be confident in what you're putting on there?
Look them in the eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one?
Just the one.
Just
Pick one.
One. On a side note, is anybody warm?
Yeah.
Oh my God. You turn the air down just a touch. I'm like, it got me up here. All the hot air here. Yeah. All right, 3, 4, and 5%. All apart. What do you think should go to 3%? The answer is currently what you're doing now, I hope. Mm-hmm. What is that? Barbara, you have one.
Yeah, the buyer presentation.
Presentation. What else?
needs analysis.
What else?
Location and selection of homes.
Obtain financial pre-approval. View property. Offers, negotiate,
Hold on. Okay. Offers.
You have like seen the property yet, or is it?
View properties.
View properties.
Yeah, you gotta take them out first, then you can run it.
I mean,
I mean,
you
you
don't
could,
have to.
it's true. More likely to happen though, if you see the property first.
What else?
I think a graphic or for new people at least, understanding of the home buying process, whether
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we just talked about. Because even if this is not their first home, well, and haven't things changed?
Yeah.
Right? So just because they sold a home or bought a home 2 years ago, that means the process is the same today. A lot of rules have changed, processes have changed, markets changed. There's a lot of, it's an ever evolving condition out there. What else?
is that in contract or disclosures?
Maybe like for just time's sake, we'll put a contract to close.
What's contract to close?
How much time do we have?
Inspections, appraisals.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Where in here are you all talking about and teaching them what any of this stuff means?
Or there, and when you're doing the roadmap,
Okay.
those terms come up.
Do you do a what's next? Who
Yeah.
who does a what's next?
Try to have like every correspondence with them in writing, ending with, here's what to expect.
Yes. Yeah, I'm just gonna write expectations. Does everybody here have a schedule on how you communicate with them? Say you do, check-in Thursdays. Like every Thursday, you send them a check-in on no matter whether they've found something, not found something, whatever that looks like. Because I know we do it for listings because your seller wants to know what's going on, but for your buyers, you guys also communicate with them on that.
Well,
Go ahead.
especially if you have a delayed closing time, one of the things that, you're really just waiting for closing. You've done the offer, you've negotiated the price, you've negotiated through inspection, the appraisals come back, you're approved, you still got 3 weeks. So it almost feels like, what's the point of reaching out to the buyer? But just know that they are clueless. I don't mean this badly, but they're clueless and they're just, exactly. So just reaching out to them at least once a week saying, hey, we're just pretty much waiting for the closing. Maybe you want to offer to take them over to walk through the house, measure a room or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
if that's another way to re-engage them.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about this transaction, it's about all the ones after this.
Right. Well, and what if it's not a brand new home? What if it's a home that it's going to need carpet replaced or it's going to need windows replaced? Or, are you providing the resources to them on what that looks like?
Is that part of the 3 or is that informed?
That's what I'm asking. Resources?
I don't
On there either.
running comp when you write an offer.
Okay.
I just pulled up our buyer presentation and I like this slide. It's we have the 10 commandments of buying a home.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt not change jobs.
Right.
Just really fun. It's cute.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about it. I don't.
So we'll add the what not to do.
Yeah, we said the 10 commandments.
What
I know.
not to do.
Thou shalt not.
Mm-hmm.
Shall
Change your mind.
Not.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Change.
Mm-hmm.
Total change.
So let's go to 4%. Mm-hmm. So all of this plus what?
for buyers.
This is for buyers.
Maybe getting quotes for, although we didn't. I was gonna say, but it's like once we go.
Like, are you going to be the GC for the property? Like, are you going to help try to coordinate some of that stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, but moving advice, vendor quotes,
What about a concierge service?
What does that entail?
Sounds like
It could be anything. It could be,
the AL that you see on the after 5 is a la carte.
oh, isn't,
Do you
okay.
feel like that would
Maybe
go
that
in?
would go there, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would go there. Concierge, yeah.
That way they can pick and choose their menu of choice.
And I know that some people have a menu and they say, okay, you know, here are all, you can pick 3 of these, you know, to fall under this, or you can pick 4 of these if you want to fall under 5, or you can pick 1 of these, so they can then handpick something that they feel like they have buy-in on to go in one of these categories.
Then we have combos, combo 1, combo 2, combo
I'll take a number
3.
3. I'll take a number 3 with a yeah,
Super size.
3 moving boxes or something. Yeah, yeah.
With special sauce.
With special sauce. I'll take a hot sauce on that. Yeah. So vendor quote. Well, I'll put GC on here. Kind of being a GC after closing. Because more than likely they're probably going to use the vendors that you refer to them.
Right.
You already have the relationships. Right, bring value in that, and you can help navigate that and directly talk to them and that sort of thing. What else? If you were a buyer today, what's important to you? What are they asking y'all?
Like warranty companies, like recommendations.
Oh, yeah, maybe you can provide them a warranty.
Warranty, termite.
Termite bomb. Stuff that's gonna make my house.
And then termite bond.
Good.
Here.
They need help. They need guidance with the inspection. They need somebody to hold their hand. And I wouldn't put that. I mean, that's gonna happen under 3. But they, you know,
Inspections with support?
yeah, that this is, I mean, especially a newcomer, they just have no idea.
Well, and people read inspection reports differently, right? It's all subjective. Like they might read one thing, they're like, oh, the sky's gonna fall, and you're like, no, that'll take a 30-minute, $100 fee to fix that. It's not a big deal. Like I think understanding how to read an inspection report. If you don't, we have inspectors that can teach you. And if you know how to read it, reading it to them and understanding it and breaking that down for them on what's really the things that are important. As an agent, it's your responsibility that they are investing their money wisely and making the best decisions financially for them as the liaison and educating them. That's part of what we're doing,
So
education.
helping them, connecting them with, like, oh, that's vendor quotes. Is that vendor quotes?
Yeah,
for,
vendor
like,
quotes.
Stuff that's on the inspection to help get that stuff done.
Yep.
Maybe, I don't know if this will stick or not, but I'm gonna throw it out there. Maybe door knocking in a neighborhood they want where there's nothing available. I mean, that might go under free.
That's 10%.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, Rache's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
Like they only want to be in this area for all of your.
Or the golden letters, you know, that kind of
Yeah,
thing. You're
yeah.
talking.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that can go under 4. So I disagree with Chelsea in the fact that I'd probably have a 2, and I'd have just a skeleton service. Like you can look up to, 5 properties.
Okay.
We're gonna make 1 offer, and then everything after that is a la carte. So I've thought about doing a retainer where you can either pay 3% at closing, and we might be able to get the seller to help you with that, or you're going to pay me $2,000 today, and it's going to be $400 an hour every hour that we work together. So just having that immediacy of funds as well as there's always risk that a deal's going to fall through. There's no risk if they're writing me a check before I even go out with them.
Right.
So, and I feel like most people are going to go with the 3%. It's just getting them where we want them and comparing and contrasting. So offering something that could be less, but that is less convenient, less, basically less better. Yeah, I'm going to go with that.
Skeleton model.
Less better, yeah. I mean, it's not bad. It's just less better.
Yeah. We talk about we talk about
We got
yeah. Do less more. Do less more.
There have been some agencies in town like Duffy that was all a part of this.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I think we got to be competitive, but for those that don't have a buyer presentation, like you better make one today. You better start it. And I say that with all the love in the world. We had this conversation when we had our listing mastermind. You guys, you got to have it because it's gonna get what's the right word I'm looking for?
Well, it brings value to you as an agent.
Absolutely. How are you gonna
Got your
differentiate
act
yourself?
together.
Right. How are you
Bring
gonna
it.
differentiate yourself?
If their only interaction with you is you opening doors, then all you are is a tour guide.
That's right.
Like you haven't communicated your value if that's all you're. Now you may be doing all the things that we're talking about, but unless you're actually sharing that with them, then they have no perspective on what you're actually doing with them.
Right.
And clients are more likely to work with a brand than a person. So if you are branded and everything is cohesive, you sell yourself.
Right. You got your stuff together. Right. Yeah. It's a package deal. Everybody likes the package. Convenience, concise, and educated experts. Right.
So on the 5%, you could put moving. So
Like
moving
moving
service.
coordinator or moving.
No, I mean,
Like you're
literally
paying
pay for the move.
Might as well. Take 5%.
So we ran a program on the listing side though, where we would pay for the move, and it was less than 0.5% in every situation that we did it. So now it was within 100 miles, and it was, they had to pack. Like we weren't over there packing their stuff, so it wasn't like a full service move. But you pack everything up, and then the movers come on this day, and they will deliver everything to your new house, and that was covered under the cost. And it was less than 0.5%, so we did a percent markup. Basically the additional cost was less than 0.5%, so we're making an additional we're grossing an additional 0.5% profit.
Yeah, and not only that, but we have a mover as part of our resource vendor program. We have a packer, the Stephanie back there. If you wanted to throw in some packing, they get 1 free hour, whatever that looks like, or unpacking and getting organized. You can also partner with any of our vendors to help with some of that. So, and I actually would include in the organization, the unpacking organization is that, that they can go through, not both, but maybe that's the pick one, an unpacking service.
On my listings, I would do a stager. Maybe here we do an interior designer.
Okay. Under 5 or a la carte?
Probably 5.
Okay.
What about junk removal?
What you got? Yeah. Plain out junk removal? We have one of those too. Okay.
Yeah, professional. Would you put that under a la carte or?
Professional clean, I would do 4 or 5. And then maybe
Before moving, right?
Yeah. Maybe on 5 it could be 3 months of professional cleaning or something.
I'll come in a French maid's outfit.
Yeah, don't write that down. Yeah.
Can't even picture
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on. What else? What are some of the things they're asking you guys today? What are they asking you guys for? Anything that's not on here?
Well, if it's septic, if you need a well, if you need
Survey.
Yeah, the surveys.
Mhm.
The problem with survey isn't just the expense, it's the timeline.
Yeah.
Like, even if we want to provide a survey, unless we get a partnership with a surveyor that will prioritize us, that's gonna be a challenge, because you're looking a lot of times, we wouldn't even get the survey back till we're closed. And we're certainly not getting it during due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
and it's expensive.
It is.
Is there anything on y'all's, Chelsea, that's not on here, on this side?
No,
What about
we
like
only
your
offer-
closing gift? Closing gift?
Oh, you're saying it goes up if.
The value of your closing gift goes up. Do you have a level 1, 2, and 3 closing gift? Are you giving everybody the Rolls Royce at closing?
I mean, if they buy an expensive enough house, yes, I will give them a Rolls Royce, but I'm probably not giving any,
Mm-hmm.
if they can pay me 5% of a $300,000 closing, I'm still not giving them a Rolls Royce.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys have categories on what you spend for your closing gift based on price point? Or do you based on who the person is?
Well, you should do it by price point, I think,
That's
but I don't.
Yeah.
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 We
It
have-
should be.
We have branded merch that we
Yeah.
do, and so like everybody gets the same thing.
Yeah. Like what are your standards?
Ours are more relationship based, so we customize their gift based on how well
Who they are.
know them.
That's right.
So yeah, like referrals and stuff like that. So I don't want to give them a bunch of Georgia Rose Real Estate Group stuff with my logo on it, I want to give them a custom house painting that maybe
Right.
they lived in for 22 years and they're so sad to see it go, and it's $50.
Right.
To them, it's priceless.
Right.
Because they get to hang it. So stuff like that. It's just.
Yeah, like don't, if you went to Georgia, go Dogs. Don't go buy them a welcome home mat with a Georgia Bulldog on there if they went to Georgia Tech.
Yeah. Right.
Right? Yeah, they're gonna walk all over that. Literally, it's gonna go in the trash.
Right.
That goes back to asking the right questions, understanding who they are. Do you know who they are? Really? It cannot be transactional. It has to be relational. All of this will all solve itself when you get to the closing table to get you more business. 100%.
What about, I'm just throwing this one out there because it doesn't have to stick. What about helping pay down their interest rate? For like 5%.
At the 5% column, paid at buy down rate.
Help. Not pay it down, but help throw some money in. And whatever that looks like. I don't know. But that's one of the objections I'm getting is the interest rates are so high. So if we could solve that problem, I don't know how that would work or logistically, or if that's allowed or.
That's a Nikki question.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can ask Nikki Power, who'll be here at 12:30. She's not here. If you were a buyer today, does this feel good?
Yeah.
Who in this room currently has a buyer that you're working with? Okay.
I've got a looker right now.
Mm-hmm.
But that French maid outfit on.
Yeah.
Maybe we
They're
get
looking
done.
all right.
Yeah.
They're looking all right.
And it didn't work.
Well, so I know, like Jay, you raised your hand. Is there anything? Do you have a buyer presentation that you're working that you have that when you're working with your buyer?
Yeah, but it's not.
Robust. Okay. Anything on yours that we didn't hit?
No, they don't, I mean, if they're not pre-approved, then I go through some of what that looks like and what the process is, get them in touch with a lender.
Mm-hmm.
So most of my buyers are already talking to a lender, but some aren't.
Some are. Mm-hmm.
But
So I may be stupid or dumb, but
No.
to me, you're negotiating with a buyer whose pocket is this money coming out of? Because typically it's paid by the seller.
That's right.
Well, so one of the changes might be that whatever we get on our buyer, whatever we have on our buyer representation agreement is all we're going to get. So unless we were to amend the buyer representation agreement for every offer that we put in based on the compensation that we're getting. So this is coming out of the buyer's pocket and the buyer's responsible for it. And then we do relay back to the buyer, I may be able to get the seller to pay some of this for you.
Mm-hmm.
Without that, without guaranteeing it.
So that's kind of a question I have. So if you had you're having a buyer sign an agreement, like, could you have them sign 3 and then let's say sellers, I'm going to give 2.75, you can amend it?
Well, you can accept anything less if you want to.
Mhm.
You don't have to amend it at all. However, if you're going up, you'll have to amend it.
Yeah.
I
Going
have
down,
a
you don't have
question,
to.
and maybe it's a David question. If we have a 3% agreement with our buyer, and the seller, they're saying now in the new law that the seller can.
Not a law yet.
Well, whatever, the new.
Yeah,
new
if
law.
it happens, yeah.
If it happens that the seller cannot pay more than what your agreement says, my question is, how does the seller know? Do we have to show our agreements now to the seller? I mean, there's not a lot of conversation about this. That's a lot of questions. How does he know? How does Mr. Seller know what my BBA agreement is?
They won't until you have the conversation. That's my understanding.
So
That
you
if I'm
call
wrong.
and say, Mr. Seller, what are you paying? And he says, I'm only paying, 2%.
Mhm.
But if my contract with my person is for 2%, we're covered, but if we want 3%, then you have to go back to your buyer and ask them, or you try to negotiate the extra percent. Is that right, David?
Yeah, so Special stipulation 619, 620 address this a little bit. So you can use those special stipulations to specifically request commission. Because the other thing that, you know, there are going to be some sellers that offer zero co-op commission. And, you know, if I'm meeting with the seller now, it really hasn't come up. The only thing that's come up is, you know, what's going on with that lawsuit? I'm like, well, nothing really changed. I've always acted with transparency and integrity, so I don't need to do anything different. And just by saying that, I've been able to just kind of not even have to address what it is. But if I have a seller who says, I don't want to pay any buyer commission or buyer's agent commission, then my conversation will be, I completely understand that that's the way that we'll go into it. I do want to let you know that there are going to be some buyers that will not be able to buy your house unless you pay their buyer agency fee. And they will probably ask you for that. So it's just part of the negotiation.
Right. Yeah. Because buyers don't have the cash, right? Most buyers don't have the cash accessibility to pay that. And so
they need it for their place.
That's right.
Yeah, they need it.
Yeah, especially first time home buyers. I mean, you know, grandma and grandpa probably, you know, they gifted them money. Like, you know, it just that's not reasonable to ask. For sure. Did that answer your question, Doreen? Okay. What other questions?
If you have a seller in private remarks, can you say seller is willing to negotiate?
Nope. We won't be able to address it at all.
Talk anything about it.
Say, see my website.
Yes, do not be anywhere in there.
But can you have a private conversation on the phone?
Yeah.
Or they can email you.
It just can't be in writing.
Just
Your buyer will
MLS.
love this 3% more than other listings.
So it can be in an email, but just not on.
It cannot be in MLS.
Yeah.
Is email MLS?
No.
It's a conversation.
It's a link to your website.
Not MLS. Not MLS.
The whole reason why they did it is because there were agents that were sorting listings by commission and only showing ones that met their minimum commission. And so it was they were controlling access, which is why it became price fixing, because they were controlling access to listings based on what the commission was.
Yeah. Now it's fair. Going into it is fair. So being transparent with integrity.
So that was I've never understood that. So
that's the reasoning behind it. They felt it was in the gap.
Yeah, and there were actually one discount brokerage, I think they said it was in New Jersey. I can't remember where. They had they recorded all their calls, and they had hundreds of calls that got subpoenaed. And there were agents that were calling saying, I'm not going to show your house unless you pay this much. And like, don't you know how this works? I'm not going to show your house unless you pay 3%. And so that's really the genesis of all of it.
So it's not only being educated on the listing side. So when you have a buyer's agent come to you, and if your client is not willing to pay that buyer's agent the commission, like, are you educated enough to have that conversation with your seller? You know, on the flip side, how are you having that conversation? Do you know what to say? You know, is it probably going to limit the pool of people that are going to look at the house? Absolutely.
we have actually paid on
Value squared, yeah. Not yet. No, because it's all hypothetical. I mean, I think until it happens, which it hasn't happened yet, and now it's been pushed to August, that it's we do our business like we've done our business today, like we did yesterday and tomorrow. And I think when people ask about it, you have to transfer conversations. Nothing has changed today. And we've always, like David said, been transparent and with integrity and move on. Yeah, don't overthink it. Anything else you guys want to add? That's a lot. Do you think all of this, the value is 3%?
Well, that's historically been what we've done.
Yeah. Right. Doesn't mean it has to be.
No, you're right.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
I guess I'm a softie for the buyers because affordability is so tough.
Mhm.
It would be really hard for me to, and I'm not saying I don't know my worth, but I guess I'm just too empathetic to what, maybe not everyone, but a lot of them, it's like, gosh, it's hard. I mean, just to get the down payment and then to get the closing costs. So
Yeah.
I feel confident with 3, but I don't know.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, no, and that's my question is, do you feel confident in doing all of this at 3%? And you're like,
I do,
absolutely.
yeah.
I earn every single penny of this. Yeah, and 3%. So this is an easy, everyday win-win conversation, all day, every day.
If you're doing that, you shouldn't be afraid.
Right, right. Confidence is key.
But, to David's statistic that somebody brought up the other day, for every 1% that the interest rate goes down, 5 million more buyers enter the market.
That's right.
So then it's like, you better jump on it now.
Yeah.
Even though it's not affordable.
I thought it was 1 million.
I thought you said 5. Was it 1 or 5?
1.1, right, David?
I thought it was closer to 1, but to be
Maybe
further down, it's been a while since I looked at this slide.
Mhm.
Find your slide. It was in the class that,
It was 1.1 because I've used it several times.
1% in interest rate, 1 million buyers.
1.1 million.
And of course, it's nationwide.
It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. I'll take a million buyers.
Yeah.
Who in here is like,
Like
I'll
what
take
you
a
want.
million buyers? Yeah.
Somewhere between 1 and 5 million buyers enter the market.
I'll take half that. Yeah, I'll take half that.
I do want to
David.
let you guys know that statistically, studies have been done about multi-rate programs, meaning that you have the least expensive package, the middle package, the more expensive package. And contrary to probably what you think, the vast majority of people will pick the middle one,
Mhm.
but more people will pick the higher one than they'll pick the lower one.
That's right. Mhm.
Because people
So
equate,
if you add this, look what's your middle,
yeah.
right?
Well, and that's what I'm saying. So like, I would probably have the 2%, but I would try to make it as unattractive as possible. Like I'm gonna, we can either drive the Cadillac 3% or we can drive the Yugo 2%. We're gonna get there. It's just gonna be bumpier.
Right.
That's
And
fine.
you go with those shops. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about, like Spirit Airlines versus Delta Airlines.
Yeah.
It's different. It's just
I mean,
different. What you pay per ticket is different. Is it a la carte? I guess maybe Spirit, I don't know. Like Frontier, if you want to bring a purse on the plane, you got to pay a fee. If you want to bring a bag, you got to pay a fee.
I hear some planes don't even have doors.
Yeah, I mean, or slide, or they don't stay on. Yeah, so I think think of yourself as an airline, and what are you? Are you Spirit, or are you Delta, or are you, I don't know, Qatar, Emirates? To me, that's like that different level. So just write out your package based on what airline you are, know it back and forth, be confident in it, be the expert of your industry, that you can meet the needs of your buyers, and that's a slam dunk. Yes, yes. Yes. Is that helpful? If you guys need templates for this stuff, it's in Canva. They're in Designs. I believe, does Scott Leroy have them? Do you know? Okay. Yeah.
Did you say
There's
Canva or Command?
Command.
Command, I mean, yeah, sorry, in Command.
I'm like, you have to make it in Canva.
You gotta make it in Canva, yeah, sorry.
But it's very easy.
Yes,
I mean, but Command's great.
the Command is great. Yeah. And I've got a few I need to go in and white out, like black out who they are. Because they're not from this market center. But I will share with everybody just to give you some ideas. I know you guys make yours all beautiful and flowers and all the feel good names. It's just pink. Two fun facts about pink. Have you guys seen or read the book Drunk Tank Pink? Did you know that pink is the most calming color universally? That's why they put it in drunk tanks, to calm people who have anger problems, who are coming in and reaching. Fact number one. Fun fact number two is red. Red is the #1 color when you wear red. People perceive as more confident, more educated, more genuine. There's a whole list of things. But
I thought I felt smarter when I put this on.
Mel Robbins.
On the podcast this morning, with the guy who wrote the 3 books, the top sellers.
Yep.
Yeah, I looked. That was my morning.
An interview.
Yeah, that was my morning commute this morning. Was my Mel Robbins podcast talking about colors and what you surround yourself with and how how you're treating yourself and that sort of thing. But it just made me think about colors because our colors are red. So of course it's red. It's red anything. And that's why you in your red shirt today. It's like, oh, I gotta remember to say that because
It's also because I forgot to pick up my dry cleaning.
detail. Detail. Thanks for having that not the maid suit. Yeah. Thanks for having that not.
It was either this or the French maid's cut. You guys don't pay me enough. That's an upper level service.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you sure that's an upper level service?
That's anything else I wanted to share that was in here. Did everybody here, or did y'all watch the Value Square?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody here. If you haven't watched it, please do. It's really good. I shared all the slides on the Facebook group. And they are actually building a whole curriculum around it that all of KWR is asking that all market centers also teach on moving forward because it will be ever evolving all the time as the market shifts.
And you guys can find that in your command under Connect.
Mm-hmm.
Just go in there and put value squared, or just put in value. It'll be the first thing that pops up.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to watch the video. You'll be able to get the PowerPoint slides. You'll be able to get basically a reading guide that goes along with it. So anything from that presentation is available on Connect. You just have to hit, basically search value and it'll pop up.
Yeah.